So how attractive was Vladimir Putin in his prime? Welcome back to LookLogix, everyone. Let's assess Vladimir Putin's facial harmony attractiveness. Starting with his front ratio, or his front profile, his first ratio is his deviation of ipsilateral alar angle and jaw frontal angle. It's a 0 out of 10. Same with his nose bridge to nose width ratio. This is actually a new ratio recently added. Unfortunately, also a 0 out of 10. These are his two lowest scores, and this is going to majorly impact his total facial analysis scoring. His jaw frontal angle by itself is also a 2.14 out of 10. His lower third is a 2.76 out of 10, and then his lower third proportion is a 3.93 out of 10. So these are all these ratios mapped out with our visual representation of it, and I've landmarked his face on faceiq Labs with the pinpoints for his front and side profile. Now this side profile is him a little bit older, but it'll still be usable as it's not as distorted as some of the other ones I found. This front profile is nice and usable though with him in his prime. His jaw slope is a 6.96 out of 10. This is also a newer ratio recently added. His eyebrow tilt is a 6.97 out of 10. So it's still positive. It's just pretty thin. And honestly, they're not that bad though. They look quite good, especially his brow ridge from his front view. The main thing I see on this face is that major upper eyelid exposure. You can see how prominent that is and just how that looks terrible. Also, his hair is very classic European thinning and a very high hairline and with almost non-existent C-cups. So on his sides, you see on his temples, there's not a lot of hair growing. Now, this is pretty common for Europeans and the white/Caucasian or light-skinned ethnicity basing for the hairline. Some people do have much better hairlines because they have a mix of the genes and things, but there are other parts that you can do or aspects that you can look into before you start, hair transplanting and different things. That's also a possibility. His eye separation ratio is a 7.03 out of 10. Middle third is a 7.1. Not too bad of a front profile, honestly. His bitemporal width is a 9.3. Ipsilateral alar angle is a 9.3 by itself. His lateral canthal tilt is a 9.43. That's one of Putin's best features, is his nice positive canthal tilt. His cheekbone height is also just as good as his canthal tilt at 9.49 out of 10. He has nice high set cheekbones. His lower lip to upper lip ratio is a 9.57. Cupid's bow depth, which is a new one, is 9.68 out of 10. So this is that droop in the lip. Then his chin to philtrum ratio is a 9.82 out of 10. His eye aspect ratio is a 9.99 out of 10, so basically a 10. Bigonial width is 10, and mouth width to nose width ratio is a 10. And then mouth corner position, interpupillary mouth width ratio is also 10. So there we go, guys. This is his front profile mapped down, and we'll get to see his full score from 0 to 10 right after the side ratios. Before that, if you'd like to use the app for yourself, faceiq Labs, landmark your own face, front and side profile. I'll give you 20% off with only my code. I'll put a link in the comment section in the description. It's the code LookLogix, and it's off any plan. So let's move over to the side ratios. Before that, if you'd like to use the app for yourself, see what you'd actually get and how you can improve, you'll get your list of key strengths and weaknesses, and then your plan and potential page, which gives you all your different options of procedures you can do, natural, non-invasive to surgical, all the different rigmarole and everything. Then you can use the code LookLogix for 20% off any plan. Make sure you click the link down below in the description and the pinned comment. And let's move over to the side ratios. So Putin's lowest ratio for a side profile is his brow ridge inclination angle. It's the angle is too aggressive at 36.1 degrees, and it's a 1/4 point out of 10, which is horrendous. His gonial angle is a 1.7 out of 10. His Frankfurt tip angle is a 2.18 out of 10. Then his facial convexity, which is also called his glabella, is a 2.4 out of 10. This is that roundness around his head. You can see it's definitely rounding, and the recession is really balancing that, making it horrendous, terrible. His nasofrontal angle is a 2.55 out of 10. His facial convexity, his nasion, is a 4.13 out of 10. almost the same as 1.14 out of 10. His interior mid-face projection angle. That's also new. His Z angle is a 6.48 out of 10. Nasal-facial angle is a 6.11. 5.66 for his upper forehead slope. Orbital vector is negative at 8.86 out of 10. Ramus to mandible ratio is pretty ideal. Overall, not too bad of a side profile either. So let's see what his total scoring is for Vladimir Putin. All right, Vladimir Putin gets a 4.75 for his facial harmony. He has average harmony about 1 in 2 people, and he's the bottom 48%. Now, if I had a better side profile, and if it was actually in his prime, he would get a solid 5. Vladimir Putin in his prime is a 5.25 facially for his harmony. This is not including his dimorphism, his height, his status, his voice, his fashion, things like that. So Vladimir Putin facially, there you go, guys, is a 4.75 here, but really he is a 5 out of 10 facially, 5 to 5.2 max in his prime in the 80s to between the 70s and 90s. I would say is his facial prime. His cheekbones are very prominent around when he was younger. You can see he gains more visceral and subcutaneous fat around the neck, and then the cheekbones start not showing up as much and they don't look as healthy. Obviously, his hair's started to recede even more, and overall, it's just basic age for people who do not take care of their health. Let's see what his key strengths are. His ideal jaw width, ideal nose width, ideal mouth width, ideal neck width, balanced eye shape, his refined nasal tip, defined neck contour, balanced nasal profile, well-projected nose. I'll scroll through the rest of these, and you can pause the video if you'd like to check it out. Yeah, well-positioned cheekbones for sure. Additional strengths, he also gets a 9.54. His areas of improvement, here we go, this is the last one, is flat jaw, almost an entire point minus. And then his hyperdivergent jaw growth is also half a point, and then his mandibular recession. So these are his top 3. I'll scroll through the rest if you'd like to check it out. So there we go, guys. This is Vladimir Putin's facial attractiveness analyzed. If you'd like to use the app for yourself, you can use the code LookLogix for 20% off. Make sure you check out the comment down below or the description. And thank you all for watching. I will see you in the next video.